Hey there guys, welcome back to another video. Pseudonym here, or Malik, whichever you choose. And today what we're going to be going over is how to do a arrow mask transition like this one here. Let me just open this up with QuickTime Player. And we can get a look at this real quick. It may go by too fast, I'm not sure. But something like that, right? So let me just go here, and you can see how it has the effect of 5 different arrows followed by the back overlay there, just filling in all the missing spaces as it goes from one to another. And we're just going to show you on how to do that. Fair warning though, it does take a lot on your system because it is very task heavy, I'm guessing, because there's several different masks you have to play around with to get this effect going off correctly. So what we're gonna do is just go to media generators and just open, or go to your white background, right? And then we're just gonna go into, you know what, I'm gonna make this a different color to make it easier. I'm just gonna make it red for now. And what we're gonna do is just go into our crop, pan and crop, and go under mask. And then we're just gonna set up a few different points here. We're gonna set up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and another one to fill that all in. Yes, I do know it looks a bit weird at the moment, but we're just gonna fix that by going to our snapping tool and our normal edit tool to fix that all up. So what we're gonna first do is just make sure that it's on the edge there. Then we're gonna Control Z if you ever mess up, and then we're just gonna click on this edge here. I'm gonna pull that over. Right, so just to make sure it's all even, I'm just gonna start here, and I'm gonna go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, and then now we're gonna do the same thing with this top one up here. Make sure it's on that line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're just gonna line this up here with that one. And that looks fairly even, but just to check, I'm just going to open this half. I made a little file here that just takes up half of 1080p, which is 540 pixels in height. And what I'll do is just bring that under the mask area, and then I'll just to make sure that this is in the middle, I'm just going to bring it down until the top of the arrow meets that, and then I'll just adjust that right there, and I'll bring that down, and I'll bring that one down as well. And then what we're going to do is just double click and make sure it goes right back up. And just to make sure, we're just going to try the other end here. And oh, well, as long as that matches up, which it doesn't because it's on snap. Okay, let's try that again. Make sure that line is perfectly on the other line there. And now is when we make sure to get it all nice and lined up, because I'm pretty sure you want it as even as humanly possible, if I'm not correct. Alright, and that looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do is just center this back up by going back to our snapping tool to make it much easier. Alright, and as you can see there, it's a bit off, maybe. No, yeah, right there, as you can see. So what you're gonna do is just bring that up and then bring it right back down to make sure that it's on the line that it needs to be. We're going to do the same thing with the bottom just to make sure, right? And now that arrow looks fairly decent. And the effect that I just showed you on the video was about a second long, and it went by a little bit too fast. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this out to, let's say, a minute 30. But first we want to establish all of our different masks. So I'm gonna open up this a little wider. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, and then I'll double click it and hold Control and drag it out, right? Well, actually, no, Control Z. We're gonna go back here, and on that first frame, you want to make sure to drag this out to the left here to make sure that it's out of frame. And we don't need this 540 height anymore, and we just get rid of that. And now we're going to make sure our axis is just on X only, and now is when we hold Control and drag it out, and then once more, and again, and again, and once more for the final overlay. Now, to make sure they're even, what we're gonna do is just go here, and we're gonna go out 1, 2, 3. Right? To make sure they're 3 apart, we just double click them. We go in here. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Or you can just eyeball it. Oh, not like that. Double click, and that looks close enough, and that looks close enough. This is a little far away, so we'll just drag that up here. And then with this one now, given that it's the last one, what we're gonna do, you can make sure you have 5 or 6. I'm gonna make sure I just have 5 arrows going across, and the last one is not going to have that. You can see how that's going to work there. And what we're going to do now is just go over to a minute 30, minute 45, or however long you want the effect to last. We're going to go over to a minute 30. And oh, what was that? What just happened there? I lost everything. No. Let's Control Z. Nope, that didn't work. Okay. I'm not sure what happened there. Just X out of that and come back. Alright, that was weird. Okay, I guess we're just gonna do this again. It didn't take all that long of anyway. 1, 2. Oh, don't rotate it unless that's what you want. 4. Oh, there we go again. 5, and then 1 more. Right. I'm not really sure what just happened there, but it's alright. And what we're going to do now is just make sure to line them up once again. And you can just eyeball it like I'm doing, and you know, they look somewhat good. Yeah. Nope. Okay, that looks good enough right there, and then we're just gonna make sure to move that one right there. All right. And now what we're gonna do is we're going to go over. Okay. We're going to, I'll just copy it just in case it wants to do that again. And I'll go over to 1:30, and I'm going to drag this back one here. I'm going to bring that all the way right here at the end, right? And now you can easily see that this is not lined up to where it needs to be. So what we'll do is just make sure, actually, let's delete that keyframe and make sure before that it goes that it's all lined up to where it needs to be, right? And all of them don't seem that way, so we'll just fix that right now. I'm not really sure why the snapping point is right there. We'll just change that up real quick, just to make sure it's as good as we can make it, right? So we can just click on that line there, move up and down to make sure it's on the correct position and it's not off the grid. And well, given that the bottom really was the most effective, that you'll notice probably, or I will, and I wouldn't I wouldn't be too happy with it. Just to make sure all of them there, and then you know, given that that is how it is right there, we're just gonna delete this one. You're gonna drag this one all the way down, and then we're just gonna go to 1:30 here, right there, and then we'll just do exactly what I said before. Make sure to limit just the x-axis and go all the way down. Right, until it reaches that point right there. And then we do the same thing here, and we go all the way down until it reaches the point of where you want it to be. And I'll just say right there. And as all of that is doing, I want to make sure to also get this started here. And I'll just pull that up here. So then I'll make sure to get this one all the way through here. Right, make sure it's exactly the same amount away as it started, and you want to make sure to start from the back and work your way up to the front, or else you will not have the same type of arrow effect going across. And then last one here, just gonna drag that all the way out to the front, right? All right, now I'll just show you what that looks like here. Right, and that looks nice. And at the end now is what I'll do here is make sure we have our normal edit tool selected. We want to click out, hold shift and click these 3 points here, and then just drag it out. Oops, not like that. You want to make sure to drag all 3 of those points. Yeah, you want to make sure to drag this all the way out like that. Wow. What I do, I turn off the sync cursor just so I can check just how far behind the last transition is. And it doesn't seem to be that far behind because it's right there. Yeah. So what I'll do is just make sure to pull that right there. And let's see how that looks. Right, you can see how it seems to have just been catching up. And I would say as soon as it reaches right there, I'm just gonna hold shift again and make sure to, oh, no. Yeah, I'll just hold shift to make sure to click that point and deselect that point there and just move it down a little bit. Just so you still get that arrow effect as the transition goes along. And at the end here, it's still cut off a little bit, and what we'll do is just hold shift again and make sure all those 3 points are selected and pull out right there. And now we go back and deselect these 2 points here and then just pull this one back just a little bit, just so we can get that awesome last arrow effect right there. Right, and now is when you want to make sure to go here and make it white. Right, you can see how that works. In 1:30, that's just how the transition is gonna look. And you have to make sure that it's in black and white, or else the effect won't work as you want it to once we make all the things that we need to make. And then you just want to go to render as. You can follow my settings or not. I'll just go to customize template here, just so you get a quick look at that. I'm under Sony AVC/MVC, the MP4 format, and we're just gonna leave that as untitled, and we're just gonna make sure it goes to that folder that I showed you on the desktop. I'm just gonna render that out there. You know what, actually I'm gonna cancel that, and I'm gonna make sure I only get the 1:30 that I want. Oh, you know what, I'll just go to 2 minutes instead, so you get the full effect of what it looks like right there, because that was basically just another 5 seconds of nothing. Right, now I'll just go back to the render, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll render there, have that go through, which is going to be pretty quick. Okay, and now we have that. So what we're going to do is just open the folder, and we're going to drag that in. Right, now we're just going to move that over for now, and as you can see, we have the video of this now. And what we're going to do here is just get a background here, and now we're going to go to our, forgive me for all of these different things here, we're going to go to our chroma keyer, Sony chroma keyer. Why can't I find you? There you are. I'm going to click OK after you double click it, and make sure to get rid of all of the black. And if you see these little artifacts left over, just make sure you pull your low threshold out a little bit. I'm just going to pull it all the way to make sure I don't get any disruption. And after that, then I'll just make a 2D drop shadow right on that, so you get that little shadow effect. Right, and what I'll do here is just make this a little less than what you saw in the preview there. I'll make that to a 3, and we're just going to say pull that up a little bit so you see it on the entire arrow. Right, and there. And now what we're gonna do, just this was just to make sure that there's a shadow under it. And what we'll do now is we can get rid of this. We don't need this. Actually, we do need this because we have to make the background white. Just remember that. So you get this type of effect. You want to make sure that you have this type of effect, and that white is the same type of white. Right? And just to make sure it's the same, what we'll do is just go to media and use our little tool here and drag on top of that, and yes, indeed, it is the same color. And as we did before, we're going to just, okay, so what I'll do here is just go to render as and make sure to have a selection of this right here so I don't interfere with this one. Then I'll just go to render as and I'll make this untitled 2 right here. Just render that out. Shouldn't take that long. We're gonna hit close. And what I'll do here is just travel to my OneDrive, go to my pictures, and I'll just, you know, take out 2 pictures here that I like. Take out this one and this one. Take out these 2. Then I'll just drag that and I'll put these 2 pictures right here. And they come up right next to each other, that and this, right? Okay, now given that we just rendered out these 2 different clips, what we're gonna do is just go here, untitled and untitled 2. We're gonna then just drag those 2 into our timeline here. We can just get rid of this now. Now, the way you're gonna do this is pretty simple. You're going to want 4 layers, and you want to make the 3rd layer a child of the 2nd layer. Now, what goes on the bottom is your frame that you want to transition from, and what goes on the top is the one you want to transition to, if I'm not mistaken. And you put your flat layer on the 2nd timeline, and you put the one with the shadows on the 1st. Now you want to just go here and multiply mask, and multiply mask here as well. And as you can see, there's a little effect going on there. Doesn't that look nice? Okay, and with this one as well, you want to drag that over and drag that over here. And now you want to just go into your effects here and make sure you get the Sony mask generator. You double click that, click OK, and then there you go. You're going to go from this clip to this one in however long this took. Maybe about half an hour it took us to do this, and it's really a nice effect. And you can play around with these transitions as you wish. You see the shadow that comes up now after that, and it does look really good. And what we'll do now is just render this one out here, and we'll just name this one Final. Render that out, and it really does look nice as a transition. And we didn't even use any plugins to get this transition. Oh, and then what we're gonna do is just open it, and that looks nice, doesn't it? Alright, and I'll leave this template in the description below, and if you like this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. If you want to see more of these different transitions and or effects for Sony Vegas Pro, just leave a comment down below of what you want to see next, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace.